How long can foreign tourists actually stay in the Philippines? Well, that's going to be our topic for today. We're going to talk about the visa extension process, like how long can a tourist stay in the Philippines, and a whole lot more. Well, according to Statistica, there's around 5.4 million foreign tourist arrivals in the Philippines back in 2023. So that is an average of almost 500,000 per month, with South Korea and USA at the top. Well, there's a lot of reasons behind those numbers. It could be the Philippines. Of course, obviously, the Philippines is an English-speaking country. It's affordable to stay, hospitable people, those common reasons. One of the ultimate reason why foreign expats kept coming back to the Philippines is how easy it is to stay under a tourist visa. And I've met with a lot of guys that have stayed here for 10 years or over 10 years. And he's only been under tourist visa. He never applied for his SRV. He never applied for the 13A. He never applied for any of the permanent visas. I guess he has his own reasons. Well, think of it this way. You can come to the Philippines, stay as long as you want. You don't need to put money in the bank. And in exchange, you just need to pay on visa extensions for as long as you want to stay. Now, if you stick around this video, I'm going to show you how it works and how people are staying for so long in the Philippines without getting any permanent visas. Stick around, grab a cup of coffee. Let's get down to business. The first part. Foreigners are classified into two when coming to the Philippines. There are citizens from visa-free countries and there are citizens from visa-required countries. Now, obviously, visa-required countries are the citizens that must get a Philippine visa before they travel to the Philippines. Now, conversely, the citizens from visa-free countries can just come to the Philippines, show their passport, get an exit ticket within their initial stay, and off they go. I'm going to talk a lot more about these visa-free countries. If you're wondering what those countries are, you can look it up online, EO 408. It stands for Executive Order 408. When you look it up online, it shows you the list of countries that can travel to the Philippines without getting any visas at all. So most of them go to the Philippines. The basic requirements are just a valid passport for 6 months and an exit ticket within their initial free stay. Now, what do you need when you travel to the Philippines coming from a visa-free country? Number one, you just need to have a valid passport for at least 6 months. Number two, you must have an exit ticket within the initial stay that you're given. Now, most countries from the EO 408 are given 30 days free. Other countries like Israel, they are given 59 days. But regardless of how many days, the exit ticket must be within that period of time. Most people ask like, hey Kevin, I want to stay beyond the initial stay given. Am I gonna book a ticket beyond that time frame? The answer is no. Most people just book the cheapest ticket that they can get outside the Philippines, let's say an onward ticket. Let's say an onward ticket going to Taiwan. So they book the onward ticket going to Taiwan within the time frame that they're initially given, let's say 30 days, and they just throw the ticket away. And some people just literally get a throwaway ticket. I'm not sure if it's legit, but some people use that and they manage to still get in the country. So the safest bet that you can do is book an onward ticket, the cheapest ticket that you can get going outside the Philippines, and the date must be within the initial stay that you're given, which is 30 days. Now, the big question is, how long can you actually stay in the Philippines? Now, visa-free countries can actually stay for 3 long years, while visa-required countries can only stay 2 years. Now, let's talk about the visa-free countries. Now, how do you get the 3-year stay in the Philippines? Well, you cannot extend your stay and get an extension good for 3 years. No, you can't do that. Remember when I said earlier that you are given an initial stay in the Philippines for 30 days? Now that will be your starting point. From the day you arrived, you are allowed to extend your stay up to 3 years. Now let's say you are given 30 days. Now, you can extend your stay. The first extension that you can only do is only 29 days. That puts you up with a total of 59 days tourist visa. Alright? Now, after the 59 days, you can then extend your tourist visa multiple times until 3 years, but you have options of getting a visa extension good for 1 month, 2 months, or 6 months. Now, 6 months sometimes, I think immigration is not doing that anymore unless you're married to a Filipino citizen or if you're applying for a permanent visa. I'm not sure, but most of the time they're only giving out 1 or 2 months visa extension. Now, you can repeat that process until you max out the 3-year allowable stay. Where to file your visa extension? Now, there's a lot of immigration offices in the Philippines, so regardless which office you will go to, they can do the visa extension. It could be a satellite office, it could be a district office, or it could be the main office in Intramuros, Manila. So it doesn't matter. As long as if they are a BI office, they can do the visa extension. And when you do the extension, you only need to show your passport. And if you have been doing your visa extensions for quite some time, you just need to present the latest visa extension that you have. Now, one tip is keep all your visa extension receipts from the day you arrived in the Philippines. It might come in handy because some immigration offices require the previous extension receipts that you had before. Some they don't. So just keep the visa extensions, or you can take photos of the visa extension receipts. Because before the pandemic, when you do the visa extensions, you are actually given a visa sticker every time you extend. Now that serves as your visa in the Philippines, the tourist visa. After the pandemic, I'm not sure what happened, but they just only give you the visa extension receipts stating the allowable stay that you can have on the receipt. Like they highlight that part. Like you are valid to stay in the Philippines until this day. You'll see that on your receipt. Now, every time you do an extension, they will give you a receipt indicating the new visa validity that you have. So keep all those receipts, just in case. I'm gonna talk about the ACRI card. What is an ACRI card? It is basically just an ID for you guys here in the Philippines because you don't have any other ID here aside from your passport. Now, you can also use it when you open a bank account here. For let's say you try to open an account with GCash. It's not a bank, it's a mobile cash app here in the Philippines that you can literally use in paying almost anything like 7-Eleven, store, mall. They typically use GCash. Now, where do you get this ACRI card? Now, you cannot just go to the immigration and just get or pay for the ACRI card alone. No. You can only get the ACRI card when you do the extension past 59 days. Now, remember when I told you about when you arrive in the Philippines, you're given 30 days, and then the first extension is only 29 days. Now, if you sum it up, you have a total of 59 days. Now, if you extend over 59 days, that's gonna be the time that the immigration will charge you with an ACRI card, and probably it's gonna cost you around 2,500 to 3,000 peso. Of course, they're not gonna deliver it to your place, but you need to go back to the immigration office where you have paid for the card. If you heard about the ACRI card, I'm sure you've also heard about the exit clearance. Now, what is the exit clearance? Exit clearance is just basically a clearance before you exit the country. The immigration is just trying to check if you have a derogatory record here in the country before you exit. Now, is it required for everybody? No. It is only required for those tourists who have stayed longer than 6 months. If you have stayed before that, you're not required. You can just freely go out the country. If you went over the 6 months period, then you're required to get an exit clearance. And I suggest get the exit clearance 1 or 2 weeks before your departure date, because it might take you 3 to 5 days to get the clearance itself, because there's a processing time. It's not like you're gonna get it within the day. So tip, before you fly out the country, get the exit clearance 1 or 2 weeks before your departure date. In the beginning, I know I've said I've met tourists who have stayed in the Philippines longer than 10 years. And earlier, I also said citizens from visa-free countries can only stay for 3 years. Now, which is which? Now, how are people doing this like long-term stay under tourist visa? Well, they just do what they call the visa run. Visa run is not actually like an official term from the BI. It's just what expats call it. So they come to the Philippines, they keep on doing the visa extension that I've told you about, and before they hit the 3-year mark, they exit the country, going to the nearest country that they can go, let's say Taiwan, stay there for a day or two, and come back to the Philippines and refresh the process all over it again. They have been doing that for years already. It only messed up during the pandemic when tourists are not allowed to enter the country. But now I think pandemic is gone. I believe tourists have been doing that again. They come to the Philippines, do the visa extension for 3 years, exit the country before they hit the 3-year mark, and then come back in and do the process all over again. And that way they don't need to put in money in the bank. They just extend whenever they want to, and then they're good. They're not tied up in the Philippines. If you're not married to a Filipino citizen and you don't want your money to be tied up in the Philippines and you just want to stay as a tourist, then this route might be the option for you. As long as you don't go beyond the 3 years, then you're good. Just exit the country before that 3-year mark, come back in, and then you're good to go. Now, what happens if you stay beyond 3 years? Obviously, you're going to be overstayed, but is it easy to fix? It's not impossible, but it's difficult and it will cost you a lot more. I'm going to talk a lot more about this overstaying stuff in the Philippines and how to fix it. Now, be sure to subscribe on my channel so you get the latest updates. Until then, see you on my next video. Peace.